What is the Palestinian government position on the Hamas attack?
Of course, we are against it. We clearly, and without any doubt, I say my words, we are against any attack on civilians.
Yes.
And any civilians, on us or on them. We don't allow.
You condemned it? Your government already condemned it?
I said we are against, of course, of any attack on civilians. We condemn what Israel is doing in Gaza. Definitely.
You believe that Hamas killed many civilians and they do many bad things to bodies?
I was not in Gaza. What I see on news, I have not seen any big funerals in Israel. You know, when they claim 1,200 people dead and cut heads and all that, that's baloney. I don't believe that the way that Israel has said, even President Biden, withdrew his statement because he was not sure. Yeah, he withdrew. He said what the Israelis were saying and then he withdrew. And many news agencies went there to see what happened. And today I heard on the Israeli news yesterday that we're cleaning up everything in that area. You know, so we feel with the families that have lost their children or their wives or husbands. The same thing that we feel that the people that we are losing on a daily basis in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza.
What's your option? What's your Palestinians' option for the future?
We don't want any Israeli boots on our territories. We want our own land, our own borders, our own everything. Then Israel will have its own security. Since in the 20s and 30s, we welcomed the illegal Jewish immigration to Palestine through the British mandate. They came to our country, we welcomed them, we got married also, we lived with them until the Zionist movement came and it changed everything. So what else can we do? We have never hurt them. We have not been involved in the Holocaust. We are against the Holocaust. I think the Holocaust is one of the biggest crimes in the history of mankind. You know, but unfortunately, those victims of the Holocaust, you know, are victimizing the Palestinians now. So we're having another Palestinian Holocaust in Israel by the people that had Holocaust by the Europeans. Unfortunately.
So you're saying all the Israelis should leave, including Gaza and including East Jerusalem?
Of course. We have a state recognized by the United Nations. It says that the Palestinian sovereign state is a 1967 borders, including East Jerusalem. They have West Jerusalem, we have East Jerusalem. And the religious sites is to share everybody, because religious site, nobody should be controlling it. We have to all be together, because Jewish, Christian, and Islam, it's the same kind of religion. It's an Abrahamian religion, so there is no difference between them.
So, as you said, Hamas still has some support, many supports from Palestinians or in the world. So how are we going to solve the Hamas problem with Hamas?
I think the best thing is reconciliation between the Palestinians factors, all of them. We have to. But no, the weapons should be one weapon. The army should be one army. The police should be one police, and the leadership should be one leadership. That's the best way out of it. Hamas right now is not a military power anymore. And I think it will come to that we have to have the reconciliation as soon as possible. But unfortunately, I could say that some of the powerful countries doesn't want the reconciliation between the Palestinians. Still don't want the Palestinians.
You mean United States?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So who is going to rule Gaza after the war?
Palestine. Palestinians.
Palestinians?
Yeah, of course.
Which Palestinians you mean?
The people that be elected.
You mean Palestinian Authority?
If they're elected, yes, why not?
No, you mean after the war there will be
an
election?
No, there is a Palestinian Authority right now. After we do the election, whoever been there can be part of the Palestinian Authority, they can be independent, and whoever wins, and they will rule Not only Gaza. شوف, Gaza is part of the Palestinian state. Gaza is not an independent state. Gaza is 365 square kilometers, you know, and it's 48 kilometers by tall and 7 kilometers by here. So it's a very small, you know, on the Mediterranean. It's part of the West Bank and East Jerusalem. This is the state of Palestine. So it's not who's going to rule Gaza, who's going to rule Palestine. The state of Palestine.
So the Palestinian government, I mean, PA, already discussed about the future of the Gaza?
Of course. Yeah. After the war, first of all, we have to see what is the formula is to rebuild Gaza. And also to connect Gaza with the West Bank and declare our independence from the Israeli occupation. After we get rid of the boots, the Israeli military boots from every Palestinian territories and the illegal settlements, then we will go into election. You cannot have really elections anymore under this Israeli government or under any military occupation. If you look at history, and you're a historian, doctor, when you are under military occupation, the elections has always been powered by the occupier, correct?
Yeah.
So we want to get rid of them.
But I'm not sure when the Israelis leave the Gaza, when the war will end.
Oh, you have to ask them that.
Yeah.
But there has been ICC, ICJ, the International Court of Justice, the International Court of Criminal, the United Nations Resolution, Security Council Resolution, United Nations General Assembly Resolution, the human rights, every organization in the world has asked Israel to stop the war and withdraw completely from Gaza.
But they're not going to listen to you.
Well, so I think it is the responsibility of the international law, international community, to enforce, and I say it again, enforce the rule of law on Israel.
But there is no...
Israel should not continue to be a rogue state anymore. It's a terror state. It's a state that is committing genocide. And I think the international community has stopped many other countries to continue like Israel. And we have seen them in Africa, and we have seen them in East European countries. And international community is responsible. And if they don't do that, and I again say, there will be no rule of law in this world.
As you said,
We'll be living in a jungle.
As you say, international community stopped the country to genocide in the other part of the world. Why international community does not do it to Israel? Why is
They're giving them weapons.
So what's the reason?
What's the reason? Ask these countries. I don't know.
Yeah.
Israel cannot destroy Hamas. Israel cannot destroy the Palestinians and eliminate the Palestinians. That should be very clear to everybody. If that is clear for the international community, plus if Israel does not comply with international rule of law, okay, they always play the victim. As an example, the ambassador said, the United Nations and also the United Nations. The United Nations gave them our country, partitioned our country in 1947-48, which the United Nations had no authority to partition my country into two states. Okay? So Israel was built on the United Nations resolutions. But today, Israel does not comply with the United Nations resolutions. So it's a double standard. They have to enforce this. If they don't enforce that, then I think the region will be burning. Because Netanyahu, this war is Netanyahu's war, and Ben Gvir and Shumatris. It's the ultra-religious, ultra-right-wing Israeli groups. They want not only a war in Gaza, they want a war in the region. The only way to survive for Netanyahu not going to jail, because he has many cases in jail, is to continue the war. The minute the war stops, he's out of the government, he's in jail. And plus, look at Israel. For the past 2 days, Israel has been so many demonstrations in the street asking for his resignation. And since October until today, on a daily basis, many demonstrations in Israel asking for his resignation.
Or accepting the deal.
Or accepting the deal,
yeah.
yes. But he doesn't want to. So what does that say? Is it a conspiracy? Or is it that that's how he survived with his people, with the ultra wing? But I don't think it will last, because many Israelis believe in peace, because many Israelis, I think, they understand one thing. Palestinians and Israelis are in the same boat. If one of them jumps out of the boat's going to sink. One. And I always say we are what we call it a Catholic marriage. There is no divorce. They cannot get rid of us. We cannot get rid of them.
That's exactly, I mean, Israeli ambassador said.
Yeah, we cannot.
Yeah.
But don't try to kill me, and say, oh yes, we cannot survive without you. So that's what I'm saying. We're in a boat. The more Palestinians are dead, the more the boat starts to shift down. And if they continue on killing us, the boat's going to sink between us and them. But there will not be a regional war. I think many countries don't want war. Only Israel wants war. I don't think America...
You mean even Iran doesn't want war?
Well, of course not. Of course not. Definitely not. But you cannot come to my country and imagine X country comes to Seoul, started killing Palestinian ambassador as an example, or the Israeli ambassador, or the American ambassador, or a guest coming to government of Korea. Will you accept it to be killed in your land? No, you will not accept it. You want retaliation. So Israel continue on killing many Iranians in Iran, including Haniya, that he is a moderate. Haniya is a moderate comparing to Sinwar. You understand me? They killed the moderate guy, and they kept us the other guy. And that's not conspiracy? No, it's because Netanyahu, he wants the hardliners on Hamas's side. He doesn't want the moderation, anybody modern. Aruri in Lebanon was a modern guy. He believed, him and Haniya, reconciliation is very important.
He was a rival of the Yahya Sinwar.
Of course. But then, of course, they killed everybody that isn't moderate.
Let's move to the Palestinian peace negotiation. Why the Biden administration never tried to revive the peace negotiation? Or they've tried or they failed because of the Netanyahu government?
Now, as I said before, I think there is a saying that what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. The United States knows that Israel does not want a two-state solution. Even though the United States said, George Bush Jr. said, for the first time, we support a two-state solution. But then we had Trumpish that came and gave East Jerusalem to the Israelis. Yeah. And if he comes now, maybe he will give them the West Bank to the Israelis, and maybe he will give them Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. We never know what happens. That's why we, as a Palestinian Authority and the PLO, we are asking for an international conference, that all parties come in there and finalize.
It's like Madrid, you mean?
Bigger than Madrid.
Bigger than Madrid.
Yes, but the United States should not be the one who's calling for it, because United States is not a neutral negotiator
anymore.
No, since 1993 until today. Okay. If you look at who was all the people that were negotiating with us are Jewish, are Israelis. Even Blinken, the first thing he came to Israel, said, "I'm Jewish," and Biden said, I am Zionist. Yeah. I don't have to be Jewish and Zion. And do you expect them to be a neutral and help in negotiation? No. I think China, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, India, Pakistan, Russia.
But China doesn't have any leverage to
it's part of the international community.
Leverage to Israel.
It does.
China has leverage.
Of course, definitely. As one united international community, to make a decision that Israel should withdraw back to 1967 borders, or then they have to do some punishment for the Israelis. No more weapons, no more economic sanction.
BDS?
No, economic sanction. Habibi, you're very good at giving economic sanctions to the minute that Russia started the war with Ukraine. economic sanction, you made him a war criminal, and also in Libya sanctions, in Syria sanctions, in Lebanon sanctions.
Yeah.
But Israel, since 1948, it can do whatever they want, no sanctions. So it's time now to make it clear to the Israelis, if they don't comply with the rule of law, international rule of law, then they have to have sanctions. And when you do sanctions on the Israelis, I think the Israelis will take it seriously and withdraw. Because illegal settlers right now in the Palestinian territories are over 700,000 people.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, 700,000. And the world is saying only statements. We are against illegal settlements. We are against, this is against internationalism, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
They never stop building.
So now they have to take a real stand. Sanctions against Israel, punishment against Israel, so it comply with the rule of law, including all international community.
So you don't believe in peace negotiation anymore?
No.
Oh, you think Oslo was wrong?
No, I don't think so. I think Oslo was a hope for Palestinians and Israelis. But unfortunately, they killed the prime minister that believed in peace. And then after that, we saw who the prime ministers. Who came prime minister before? Netanyahu came how many times?
Yeah.
And all the prime ministers that came, even Peres, that had the Peace Nobel Prize, attacked Lebanon and attacked Palestine. So what they do is, to show that they are powerful, they come and attack the weak, the Palestinians. And then they come and say, oh, we attacked them because they attacked us. Come on. They have to understand that in their mind. As long as they occupy us, we can resist in any color and any form for our independence. And we will not accept and never accept the continuation of Israeli military occupation on the Palestinians. We want them out of our land. They can live in their country. We recognize the state of Israel, the right for them to exist as my neighbors. They should recognize us as a state of Palestine and the right to exist freely as much as they have the right to live freely. I believe that the international community, we should have a conference of international community. All international members of this community should be in this conference, okay? And they should enforce the solution on the Palestinians and Israelis according to international law and according to United Nations resolutions. It doesn't need a miracle to happen. You understand me?
Have you ever tried?
No, not yet. We have been saying this since my president went to the United Nations every year. He has said, we are calling for the protection of the Palestinian people. He asked the international community and also said, I call for international conference for peace to finalize the last step. There is no more negotiation. See, as I say, you cannot negotiate with somebody who says what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. Because Israel says West Bank is mine and East Jerusalem is mine. And the war on the Jordanian border is mine. And the borders with Egypt is mine. And tomorrow they'll say Gaza is ours. Because now, so international community responsibility today is to enforce a final solution according to international law and United Nations resolutions.
So Israelis wants PA to rule West Bank and Gaza. 2007, Hamas recaptured Gaza by killing all the PA. Yes. So Israel worried about this is going to happen again.
Where?
In the Palestine, in West Bank.
In the West Bank?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
We have many Hamas in the West Bank too. So, yeah.
At the end, Hamas is a byproduct of Israel.
Yeah.
You know, as long as Israel is occupying Palestine, you know, we're going to have these problems.
Okay, that's right.
Yani, it's like somebody is taking drugs every day and he knows he's going to die after 6 months because of overdose, as an example. He can't stop it. And Israel cannot stop the occupation of Palestine. But if they stop it and they leave, then we will live in peace. It's a very simple equation. You know, there is no more, you know, to make some big thing about it. The simplicity of a solution. You have to look, you know, I think Einstein said that you cannot solve the problem you can't solve the problem with the same solution of the problem in that context. What I mean, you cannot continue on military occupation of the Palestinians and saying we want peace with you. How?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't coexist.
Yeah, but exactly, you cannot exist. So, to end and to have peace, Israel has to withdraw back to its own occupied territories. We recognize the state of Palestine, state of Israel, but Israel never recognized the Palestinian state. You understand me? So, Israel is the one who has to take the decision. They want peace or they want war, not us.
So how are we going to reach the deal? The only way, you say, according to you, the only way is Israel should start first.
Yes, of course.
Withdraw.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yani, let's take an example of the Americans and the British. When the British left the United States took its independence and it was peace with the Britain. Now, British government is an ally of the United States.
Yes.
صح ولا لا? But if it continues to be in the United States, it could be still at war. It's the same thing with the Palestinians. If Israel leaves the Palestinian territories and we have our own independence country, then we will be peace with Israel, and we may be ally with Israel too, because we all live in that region to protect each other. And as I said, we're in a Catholic marriage. There's no divorce between us. Yes, well, there's no divorce. And you are a historian, and I read history. In history, through all the centuries, as long as you are occupied, there is no peace. How can you have peace when you are occupied? How can I have peace with the Israelis? Israel will never have peace if they do not end their military occupation. When my ID has to be issued by the Israelis. When the Israelis sometimes will not allow me to leave my own country to go somewhere else. When Israelis come and make me pay tax. When Israelis control my tax money and our funding for coming outside. When the Israelis control our communication, control our water, control our daily lives of the movement between the West Bank villages and towns and in Gaza.
Do you really believe that it will happen?
Yes, it cannot continue.
Cannot continue.
No, look at the world. Look at the streets of the world. In Europe, in the United States, the universities in Washington, D.C., in L.A., in big cities in the United States, small cities in the United States, they never went to support the Palestinians. Today, the support for the Palestinians and to stop the war and for, it's not a ceasefire. We don't want any ceasefire. We want to stop the genocide in Gaza and the West Bank. The people of the world is supporting that. Their voices are not heard by the governments. Even in Korea, you have on a daily basis demonstrations here. In Japan, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, everywhere in the world, they are demonstrating against Israel, and I don't know how the Israelis are not accepting that the world is against them.
There are lots of critics about the Palestinian Authority corruption. What do you think about it?
Let me say it in this way. You have accused the Palestinians of terrorists. You have accused us of corruption. You have accused us of every bloody thing that you can find a label on and give it to the Palestinians. Before you accuse others, look at the mirror and look at your own countries. Look at your own countries. Look at your presidents. Look at your government officials. Are they corrupted too or not? How many presidents have been in jail? How many prime ministers in Israel has been in jail? Stop accusing us of all of this. Work with us. If we are corrupted, help us to be uncorrupted. If we are that bad, help us to that, but we are not corrupted.
What do you expect how do you find the relationship between Korea and Palestine?
I think it has come to a very good results. We appreciate what South Korea has voted in the United Nations, the last vote. And I do believe that Korea is trying very hard to be a part of the neutrality of the international community. And I think South Korea could play a very good role in the future very near future, hopefully, the international conference. Because we want all countries to be involved.
You mean South Korea would participate?
Yes, of course, because South Korea is a very important country. You know, economically with Arab countries and Islamic countries and in Palestine. You have invested in Palestine and you have helped us in many projects and continue. I think this year Korea has doubled its aid to Palestine, and that's well appreciated by the Palestinians. And of course, we want Korea as a friend, and we are friends to the Koreans. And I can see that from the streets of Korea, that many students and Koreans and others are standing up for the right of the Palestinians for independence. And we highly appreciate Korea and its country.
That's what exactly you expect from us.
Don't help Israel military-wise. And I think you have to recognize the state of Palestine. Today is 144 countries, and over 144 countries has recognized the state of Palestine. Recognizing the state of Palestine does not mean that it's an obstacle to peace in the future. On the contrary, it helps us to reserve and protect our land from being occupied by the illegal settlers.
Okay, so we have tonight we have a game.
Yes.
Soccer game.
Yes, between
South
our
Korea
national.
and Palestine.
Yes.
How do you expect it?
I think it will be a friendly game.
Yes, of course.
And I believe today there's no winner or losers. Both are winners.
Yes.
And we are here to show the world that even though we are under occupation, we are facing genocide on a daily basis, that the Palestinians are resilient, and we are speaking in a language of peace because it's the sports and music and culture is a language that everybody understands.
Yes.
And we want to show that the world, we Palestinians, with everything we're suffering, we're still giving a message to the world that we want peace, and to our people, give them some hope that we are still existing.
I really hope so. I think through this game, we could, hopefully we can close together.
Of course, and I think it will bring the people closer.
You have a last word to say to Koreans.
Don't lose your humanity. Stand up on the right side of history. And we as Palestinians appreciate Korea's stand with the Palestinians. And for the people, I ask them, make your voice louder to support a peace and to support the stop of the genocide in Gaza and the West Bank.